Loon, what would you say are some of the factors leading to the past few games, the last 3 losses?
We haven't been putting together full games. We play a good 30 minutes or 36 minutes. Then we might not be focused or have the same defensive intensity or offensive execution down the stretch or for a first quarter or third quarter. And we kind of let teams get the momentum and get back in the game. And once they get the momentum, it's kind of hard to stop. So we got to get back to putting together full games of paying attention to the detail.
How would you describe the difference it would be for Draymond when he has to play the 5 compared to the 4?
It's probably a big difference for him. When you got another big out there with you, he can roam a little bit more. He's more of a help defender because he's not as many actions. And off the ball, on the ball he's awesome, but off the ball he kind of disrupts everything. He's able to talk everybody through everything, and then his spacing is different on the offensive end. So I think it's a little bit different for him, but he's good at both. He probably has a preference, but I think he's great at both. He's shown that.
I wonder what you would think the physical, toll.
It's a big difference physically. You playing against the 5 man. That's always gonna be the biggest guy on the court. He's the one that's gonna be hitting you every play. You in every action. You got to box out every time. Sometimes the 4 man might be a little smaller. They might not crash that often, but the big man's going every time. You got to pay attention to him. And the guys, he's not that big. He's probably 6'6", 6'7", if that. And you're going against guys like Hartenstein, 7 foot. Tonight, Nurk is 300 pounds. Every center is going to be pretty big, so that takes a toll on you down throughout the season.
It seems like even talking to him, it is kind of just trying to keep him off the glass. Is that the number one, physically draining?
Definitely. Keep him off the glass. It's a certain level of physicality you got to play with at the 5 spot. If you watch the big centers, kind of play each other throughout the game, it's going to be all hidden throughout the half court, on the elbow, on the block. Not just when the rebound goes up, it's just the whole time. We always got contact. We got to, set the tone with our physicality, and that takes a toll on you throughout the game.
He said, when asked about, if he'll have to play the 5 more, he said he'll do whatever the team needs him to do.
Uh-huh.
Do you think the team needs him to play more 5?
I don't think so. I played the 5. You got Trace. Draymond plays some. Kyle plays some. So we got bodies. I just think it's about what look Steve wants to go with. Sometimes when he wants to play faster and go small, Draymond's perfect for that. He's been great at that his whole career. So I don't think it's something that he has to do full time. But for certain lineups, certain combinations, Draymond's going to be great for that. And I think Steve does a great job of managing that, and so he don't wear him out for the whole season.
How beneficial was it to have 2 practices this week?
It was great. We got to get back to the detail, really focus in on our execution on both ends of the floor. We had a little bit of slippage the last few games, so it was just great to get out there on the court and really lock in.
Where did you see the most slippage?
Just our execution, our spacing a little bit on offense, and then defensively, our track the box wasn't good for 2 games. I think last game it was pretty good, but we got to continue to get that and get back to the right our principles. Staff is really honest about that.
What do you notice about having KD, Book, and Beal together on the court and changing that dynamic of playing against the Suns?
Well, it's gonna be our first time playing against them, so this year, so it's gonna be good to see. You got a new coach, a new system, but them guys are 3 dynamic scorers, so we're gonna see if our practice is gonna transfer to the court today. We've really been locked in on our defense, and we've been really good throughout the year. But those 3 are great one-on-one scorers, and it's gonna put a lot of pressure on us. But we gotta rise up to the challenge.
I think both of them, Klay Thompson, an incredible player, continuing career in Dallas, having an impact there, and now Buddy Hield, a great shooter in our league for, I don't know what it's been, 10 years it feels like, and he's fit in kind of seamlessly. His ability to move without the ball, come off of pin downs, come off of screens, play with that kind of movement and randomness. It's been a good fit for Buddy Hield, and a good fit for the Warriors from the little bit I can see.
Before I answer any U of A ASU questions, I'd like to remind everyone that we still have the all-time series lead, 51-46. Any questions? Okay.
You know on Steph yet?
Not yet, but I'm expecting him to play, but he's got to warm up and see how he's feeling.
Wiggins?
Same. I expect both of them to play, but yeah, we'll see.
How much do things change now that Beal and Nurkic are out?
I just learned that just now that you said that. So I knew they were questionable, but you know that obviously changes their lineup, and we know what Dunn can do. We know what Plumlee can do. They've got capable reserves, and so we just have to adjust to the other personnel.
Coach, you've praised Book, especially in the Olympics, for his defense, but just in the grand scheme of things, just how have you seen his game evolve since he came into the league?
I mean, he was a great player right away, but he's a two-way player. What I was impressed with in the Olympics was it's not easy for a guy to adapt his normal role of go-to guy, scorer, and then, you know, to be asked to be a defender, connector, and then thrive in that role, and then become a star when we needed him to become a star, you know, those last couple games. So he was incredible, and that's what you need from any player, is the willingness and ability to adapt to whatever the game calls for. So Book is just phenomenal. Great player, great guy. Loved coaching him, loved coaching Kevin. That was the experience of a lifetime, and both those guys helped make it. So that was a thrill.
Coach, speaking of the Olympics, what did it mean to you to coach Steph and KD again on the way to gold?
It was really fun. I mean, I think the fact that Steph, Kevin, and LeBron all played on the same team for the first time was historic. It was, you know, the modern dream team. And but just watching those guys work every day, watching, I mean, obviously I know Kevin well, know Steph well, but seeing them all together and collaborating and the work they put in before, during, and after practice to prepare their minds, their bodies, is really inspiring. I mean, they're as good as it gets.
Coach, one thing that seems to keep coming up with KD is the whole leadership conversation. As someone who spent time with him, I was just curious your perspective, because everything that we've heard is that he's a great leader by example and vocal to the point that people are surprised by it. What was your kind of experience with him like in Golden State?
Well, you know, every player is different. Every season is different. And I think so much of leadership is circumstantial, based on the team's circumstances, who's on the roster, what's happening. You know, I think there's always going to be talk about every team, every player, about what's happening, and that's just part of being in the NBA these days. But I love coaching Kevin. He was amazing. You know, obviously 2 straight finals MVP. I think it was clear at the end that he was ready to move on and take on a different challenge, and we supported that, of course. And it's been fun for me to coach him twice since that time, you know, once in Tokyo, once in Paris. And Kevin's an amazing player, great guy. Happy for him for all his success. We would have, you know, loved to have kept him forever, but it wasn't meant to be.
Coach, when you look at the way you spread it out the minutes, no guy playing over 30, you got a guy that's playing like 12. Is this working out the way you thought it would, as far as having the minutes spread out and stuff like that?
I mean, you know, I think it's something that we felt made sense for us. We've been able to keep up defensive pressure by playing a lot of people, shorter minutes, shorter bursts, and it has helped our defense. We're, I think, 4th in the league. But it's not easy either. It's not easy on the players. It's not easy on the coaches trying to figure out from game to game who to play and when. So I think we're still sorting through combinations and trying to figure out, you know, the best solutions from one night to the next. So I don't think this is necessarily the way it's going to go for 82 games, but we're going to take it game by game and play the guys we need to play to win the game.
Trace was limited to about 3 minutes
Yeah.
last game. I know that was based kind of on what you did with the starting lineup, but what more do you need from him right now?
Well, Trace is at his best when he sprints the floor and plays with great energy and pace, and he has basically done that this year, and that's why he's been in the starting lineup. That's why he'll start tonight. I believe in Trace, but I believe in 12, 13 other guys too. And that last game we played smaller to start the game with Draymond at the 5. Looney played great. It wasn't anything that Trace was not doing that kept him to 3 minutes. It was just the game itself.
Coach, you said you know what Ryan can do, and Bud has a tendency to put him on the other team's best guys, if not the best guys. So if it's not Steph, what do you anticipate maybe with the matchup if it's against Buddy or someone else?
Yeah, I mean, Steph makes sense. Buddy makes sense. We'll see. I mean, he's a really good defensive player. Very impressive for a rookie to take on that role. They obviously have confidence in him. So we're not really that concerned about who's guarding whom. We're just going to go out and play and adapt as we see what's happening on the floor.